And you can take a trip to Psychoville on Thursday at 10 on BBC Two and BBC HD. But even better than that, we have the creators and stars with us here in the studio, Reece Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys.
Before we get stuck into Psychoville, how was the show last night? Because you're in Betty Blue Eyes at the moment, aren't you?
With Sarah Lancashire,
yes. Sarah Lancashire.
Yeah. Oh, I did two yesterday, so I'm tired.
Did two?
Called
Do a matinee.
Saturday
matinee, yeah. But yeah, it's going great.
When
really,
Sarah came on, she wouldn't reveal anything about the pig.
Yeah, we were
she
told
said
not
we're
to
not
earlier.
allowed to tell. She's not allowed to tell us anything. It's an animatronic pig.
Now we
isn't
can reveal it's not a real pig, animatronic pig.
For anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, it's based on
robot pig.
Yeah, but it's based on a private function.
Show, yes.
And so it's about in the World War II. Was it just?
Yeah, it's after the war, 1947.
Rations. You get a pig and you want to eat it.
Yeah.
And they have an animatronic pig.
Yeah, there was talk of a real pig, but we thought it would terrify the audience.
It's had great reviews, hasn't it?
It's had great reviews. Yeah, it couldn't have gone
well.
better. Yeah. Because you never know what, with a new thing, you never know how it's going to turn out, but it's gone really well, yeah.
Is the pig the star of the show?
No, I am. Well, I mean, when it comes on, everyone's looking at the pig, so it doesn't really matter what me and Sarah and the rest of the cast are doing once it's on. Because it is kind of quite mesmerising just to look at it, because it's so kind of real. Cameron McIntosh described it as like a real pig with fairy dust on it. Because it's kind of like real but not real in a kind of Disney way.
Does it fart?
Yes.
Does it move during the thing? How's it?
Well, there's a man under the stage that operates it, you know. He's got a little monitor and he gives it kind of life and expression.
So I went to watch Wizard of Oz with my kids not so long ago, and the little dog in it. And it's funny, every time the dog comes on stage, doesn't matter what the actor's doing, I was like, it's a dog, it's walking.
And there's that weird, you have that strange thing of it, it's, no one's really in control of it, so it might do anything, and that's what's quite scary about it.
That's right. So 2 shows yesterday.
Yeah, it is full on for an old man like me.
How long are you in it for?
Till October.
A long run.
Yeah, so that's quite
really long run.
Yeah, fresh every night.
Fresh every night.
Yeah.
Teeth and smiles.
Exactly that, yeah. That's good.
And Benidorm, Steve, so when do you film that? Is there another series? What's going on?
Yes, I think that's been announced. It's series 5.
Series 5?
Yeah.
I'm such a big fan. I love it. It's one of those
you.
programmes, once you start watching, you just find yourself giggling.
Yeah, I think it's nice because it's on in the sort of, in February and January when we're so depressed and miserable, and you just watch something with a bit of sun in it.
How long do you guys go over there and film that for? I always think it must be nice to
About
have a
3
job
months.
that's in the sun.
Yeah, we go from September to December.
And you obviously all get on well and just have a bit of a
we have a
blast.
real laugh, we hit the town.
I liked the Cilla Black one.
Oh, yeah. Consuela! Yeah, she was good fun, actually. She was really good fun. And we had Bananarama, and we had Melvin Hayes. And they always come up with sort of a lot of guest stars. And a lot of people from my childhood, people like Brian Murphy, who played George and George and Mildred, and Melvin and Scylla. So it's like you're reliving your youth and acting alongside them.
George and Mildred movie on the other day. It was really bizarre, which I'd never seen, which was all about... I don't know, there was sort of crimes going on. Anyway, let's talk about Psychoville instead. Second series now. Can you briefly give a... How would you do it? Give a description of what happened in the first one. Kind of weird stuff which comes out of your head again. What's the summary of what's happened so far?
Well, the end of the first series, it appears all the characters have been killed in this blast and an explosion. And we kind of wrote in a last-minute... get out if we got a second series that we would be able to launch into a new story.
So you didn't know whether you had
No, you never know, we had,
okay.
because it was going to go out and then they would decide, so we just thought, well, we'll have to dare to think we will get a second series, not just close the book on it. So we wrote this thing of a locket that Imelda Staunton's character was after, coming in at the last minute asking all our characters who's got this locket. And we kind of had an idea what it meant, but we weren't quite sure. But we thought, well, if we get a second series, that will be the thrust of what it's going to be. And so in our second series now, it starts a week after the explosion. There's a funeral for some of the characters that have died. And Imelda Staunton, who's our new kind of baddie, is after this locket for mysterious purposes.
But they do that on a lot of big American shows like 24 and Lost and stuff like that. They have a mid-season point and they don't know if they're going to carry on and be recommissioned. So
it must be quite hard to write on the basis of not really knowing when you're writing.
It is, but it's also very freeing because literally anything can happen, and that's where we get a lot of our inspiration from. Is the fact that these characters could go in any direction. And when people watch the first episode, I think they'll be quite surprised by what happens. And having that freedom and, you know, not exactly having an end point in mind allows you to take the story on a real sort of narrative.
You are well known for your characters. When League of Gentlemen as well. When you come up with a character, do you put it to everyone and say, "Here's our character. What do you think?" Or how's the evolution of a character happen?
Well, usually it's not an idea for an initial joke of a situation. So it's like a clown that's not very nice to the children, or a restart officer that's not nice to the unemployed. And then
people not being nice to people.
Yeah, that's the theme. It seems to be the theme.
Quite dark, your minds, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it always turns out that way. We never willfully think, what can we do that's horrible or dark? It's just that's what makes us laugh. Right. So I think we have that's our sense of humour, isn't it?
Can we have a little reminder for people who, well, I'm not sure everyone knows your characters, but here are some of the characters from League of Gentlemen.
To England. My name is Caleb, and I may enjoy you to this exchange visit to the lovely town of Royston Basie.
What's all this shouting? We'll have no trouble here. They're strangers, not local. He wears a crown and builds a new road.
Just a sec. Where do you think you're going?
Interview.
You're going nowhere, Buster. Sit down.
Have you seen this? My sister got it out.
Richard, aye. What's it about?
It's about 2 hours.
Hello, Dave.
I'm sorry?
Is that Dave?
Oh, no, I think you've got the wrong house.
Okay, is Dave there?
No, there's no one called Dave here.
Okay.
That leads me on actually to quite a nice email from Bryony Jameson. Where do you find your inspiration and all the characters in A League of Gentlemen and Psychoville?
Well, where do we find them?
Are they based on real people?
Sometimes we've heard a conversation, or we've seen a funny situation, and we thought that could be, if that escalates out of control, that could be a funny scene. You know, and other times it's just we have the idea for the actual. That it has to fit in the story, doesn't it?
Yeah, you take lots of different things and people you've met and things you've seen on reality television as well. That's quite good for us to watch.
There's been about 60 characters, isn't there? I mean, it's a lot
we have
of
by the end of the
play.
year. How many did we play by the end of League of Gentlemen?
In League of Gentlemen, we played about 30 each. In Psychoville, we play about 4 or 5 each. So we've kept it. But even then, what you don't want to do is have people say, "Oh, that's just so and so from League of Gentlemen."
I know, of course.
So we've worked very hard to make the Psychoville characters a separate lot from the League of Gentlemen ones.
Yeah.
Which is hard.
Why is everything so dark in here? And how come you share the love of it together? Is it something you?
Yeah, it's funny that we all found each other because we all do have very similar senses of humour. I mean, we all have a collective memory of one bonfire night in 1976, not going out and looking at the fireworks, but staying in and watching Carry On Screaming.
Right.
And that was me, Jeremy, Mark and Steve, all scattered throughout the north of England, doing that on that particular night in 1976. So we have a very collective, but we are very different as well. I think that's what kind of makes it work, because we have got there's very silly things in our show as well, very traditional comedy, but then we pepper it with this kind of dark stuff as well.
And we're very normal. We've got both got kids, and we have normal family lives, and so we get it all out in our work.
Yes, we make them sit them down. No.
Well, Reece's daughter was in the first series.
Guys, come on.
we are normal.
The stuff that I'm watching is not normal. Someone said, would you ever tour Psychoville? Because you toured League of Gentlemen. Could you ever tour that? I mean, it
would be hard because only two of us,
isn't it?
Yeah. We've started talking about it.
Yeah, I think if this second series kind of builds on the first, and if you felt there was a momentum there, we may well do that, yeah. But it's very hard work, as Reece said. You've got all the costumes have Velcro down the back, and you literally run off stage and back on again. There's only 2 of us.
All right, OK. You're going to hang around, aren't you, and cook pudding with us. And Steve, you're going to help us look at some of the latest gadgets for some things for the weekend. We've got a cat toilet. A mechanical cat toilet.
OK. Have you got a real cat?
We haven't got a real cat,
okay.
but we've got marshmallows, which are pretending to be cat poops.
Nice.
If you've got
some ideas for the new show after this show.
If you've got a question for Reece, Steve, or Gareth Malone, tweet us at SFTW or email them via our website, bbc.co.uk/something for the weekend.
So guess